Good morning.
Are we on?
Happy
Awesome.
Coffee and Connection, y'all.
Happy Wednesday.
Yes.
Wellness Wednesday, as Jennifer likes to say.
Yeah, just checking to see if if you're able to see us. Sweet.
It's working. It's totally working.
It's working. Nice job, Jake. He always sets it up, and I'm so grateful.
We've got some exciting stuff coming up pretty soon here. We're headed for El Salvador in no time.
Yes. What are we doing in El Salvador?
Surfing.
Surfing. And what else are we doing?
Mindset work.
Doing a lot of mindset work.
Managing our relationship with fear. We're going to talk to some kids there about the possibilities they have of dreaming bigger than the poverty they are surrounded with and the examples they have of what's possible in life, and teach them to surf and provide a healthy meal and talk a little bit about healthy food choices. And we're going to eat good food and do yoga and do thought work.
I think the thing I'm most excited about is that bringing an intimate group of people, and Jake's gonna lead us in a awesome program of how to build our relationship with fear, because who doesn't have an amazing relationship with fear?
Who doesn't?
Well, I don't. Who does? Would that be the right question? Who does have an amazing relationship with fear?
I don't know. I feel like we all, it's definitely, we all have a relationship with it. It just depends on how good do we want that relationship to be?
Yeah.
How in charge of it would we like to be? Let's say that's what we're talking about. How much do we want to be in the driver's seat of that relationship? So that's going to be super fun. And then we also have sort of a business surprise that's going to be coming out in a couple weeks.
Yeah, you're not supposed to be talking about it until next week.
Well, that's all. I'm just saying it's a surprise. I'm just saying there's good stuff coming. You don't want to leave the FitBar sphere of influence. That's what I'm saying, because there's some cool stuff coming.
Yes. So what is our theme of today?
The feature we're going to be doing today is Who Inspires Me, is what we're going to be talking about.
Oh, yes.
And before we jump into that, we want to talk about the question of the day, which is on there. We want to know, what time do you wake up in the morning? And we're specifically talking about not your days off. So we put Monday through Friday if you work on the weekend, on your work days, when you have like a structured schedule of stuff to do. What time do you wake up, and why do you choose that time?
And it's not what time do you want to wake up in the morning? It's what time do you actually wake up in the morning?
or the comparison of the two. If you have a time that you want to wake up and a time you actually wake up, be interested in that.
I think it's cool to hear other people's answer, because everyone's so different, and everyone that I know of, most people that I know of, really want to be someone who can get up in the morning and feel really productive and just like, I'm gonna have an awesome day. But the truth is, sleep is amazing, and when that alarm goes off, no matter how many reps we've had, it's tough. So I love hearing, what time do you really wake up in the morning?
What time do you wake up?
Well, I have started waking up at 4:40 a.m.
I do not get up with her.
No, he stays and sleeps.
Yeah.
But I've really enjoyed it. And the reason, so my why is to have uninterrupted and unrushed time for my morning routine. What time do you wake up?
5:30. I'm the sleep inner of the family. I wake up at 5:30, and then mine is more just that's enough time for me. Like I get my stuff done in that window of time is like perfect for my routine, and then I always work out very, very first thing. Well, I brush my teeth and then I work out. But it's really hard for me to do that in these cold winter months for some reason. And so I'm like, that's my championship moment. That's my moment of discipline. The alarm goes off, I'm like, here I go. I'm going to go work out. So that's kind of my morning. And then I like that because once it's done, the rest of the morning, that's when I do like a devotion, take a shower, take a look at my calendar, take Duke out usually, sit with him for a minute, all of that stuff becomes just fun and relaxing once the workout's over.
Yeah, which is so different from my preference of how to do my morning routine, and it's to work out. I think it's like the fourth thing on my list in the morning.
Yeah.
I need coffee before I work out. Good morning, Deb and Alicia. Alicia says she tries to wake up at 6:30 a.m. every day, whether it's a weekday or weekend, because I always feel better and more productive when I get my my day started early. Yeah, that's awesome. When do you work out, Alicia? Because I know you started to work out consistently. Deb says 6 a.m. Deb and Gary are early birds, early risers. That's awesome. And Deb, why do you wake up at 6 a.m.?
I used to wake up quite a bit later, like 6:33, and it was because I wanted to sleep every single minute I could, and I had my preparation from the moment I got out of bed to when I got in my car to go to work, like dialed in to like minute by minute, and I was like, oh, I can sleep in an extra 3 minutes, and so I had a real like discipline of the alarm goes off, I'm out of bed. There's like not even a chance for 10 seconds of it's just boom, alarm out, covers, like. Yikes. Go get ready, but that was a different time for me. My mornings are a little more relaxing now.
Yeah. So, let's do our feature.
Let's do it.
Who inspires you?
Well, the feature is who inspires you, and so the reason that we're doing this, we fell.
Woo!
The reason that we're doing this is because.
Good save.
We get inspired too. We spend a lot of time pushing information out and trying to inspire people, and we hear from people like that we are helpful in that way. But we spend a lot of time getting poured into as well, and we have like a sphere that we kind of check out on social media that pours into us and keeps us motivated, gives us new ideas. And so we thought that once a month it would be cool to have a feature about who inspires us, to be able to highlight them, and sometimes it's people we don't even know. For example, mine today, but sometimes it's people we do. And so I'll let Whit kick it off with hers.
I asked you.
Who is your inspiration?
I asked you first. But it doesn't have to be anyone that has reached a level of success, or it's genuinely just who is in our sphere that is showing up consistently and impacting, whether it's words of encouragement or transparency, vulnerability, whatever it is. We're like, yes, we love what you're doing, keep doing it. So if you're watching this and you're like, oh my gosh, I would love to be on Coffee Connection for the being inspired or inspiring Jake and Whitney, there's no requirement other than showing up and encouraging other people. Living as an example of what's possible. So you go first.
Okay.
I asked you.
All right. Mine, it's funny. It's a guy he's a volleyball player. And I don't know him. I've spoken with him just a little bit in like comments on Facebook, but I've never met him before. But he made a post a little while back that really spoke to me, especially in terms of some conversations that we had with my daughter a year or so ago. And it ties in a lot with what we coach on about where you find your value, where you're getting your value. So I'll put up here's the post that he made. And he said, what you do does not determine who you are. How you perform does not determine your identity. You are a child of God and are loved no matter how you perform. Even if you don't perform great, you always have greatness inside of you. And that's from Bruno. And it's kind of funny because the reason I even know of him, he's like an up-and-coming AVP guy. He's working through the ranks to get his professional status and be playing there. And he plays with a friend of ours, Troy, from here, even though he's from California. Or he's not. I actually don't know where he's from. But he randomly stayed with my parents during the Hermosa Open. And so he slept with my mom and dad, and they're upstairs on their futon. And so I was like, oh, who is this guy? So I went and checked out his Facebook, and I started following him. I saw that post, and I was just it kind of spoke to me. I was like,
That's
man,
awesome.
I really like this. And I think that my favorite part of the whole thing is that the message he's sending is that you don't hold yourself accountable, and you don't think of yourself as less than until you achieve your result, and then you finally say, okay, now I'm worth something, now I'm worth loving. The way that you do it is you realize and capture the thoughts that are saying, my value is now, and my value, it's constant, and it doesn't depend on my circumstances. It doesn't depend on my successes, my failures, how I perform, don't perform, whether I win, whether I lose. It's not that. My value is constant. I love who I am first and foremost, and then from that place, because I love myself, I put in the effort, the work, I take the chances, I manage my fear, I do all of the difficult things that are required to grow to greatness, to achieve excellence, because I love myself, not in order to earn that love. Mm-hmm. And so that was just a real inspiring thing that I enjoyed from him.
I love that. It's very aligned with what we coach our clients on.
Exactly. We also wanted to mention how they contribute, the people that inspire us, because their contribution is often inspirational to us as well. And he coaches like junior girls club volleyball at the same time. So when he's got his own family, and his own life, and he's working his way towards his AVP professional volleyball career, but at the same time he's coaching juniors. I just think it's so cool, like, to see him give back and share like that. So I don't know if Bruno's ever going to see this or not, but
how can they follow him?
I think you're a cool guy. Well, his name, just on Facebook, I guess, is the only way, through his progression. Bruno Amorim is his Facebook name. And I'll link him in this, I guess, so that you could click on it and follow that if you want.
Yeah, so Bruno, thanks for inspiring other people, and thanks for being an example of what's possible.
Who's yours?
Mine, I'm so excited because I even have a shirt that I'm wearing. Duke Christoph Lewis. This is his shirt that Jake and I got for being on his podcast. I think it was almost like a year ago when we were doing a different business model. But anyway, he is just really believing in this concept of inspiring other people by highlighting other people. And I love that because he doesn't put the spotlight on him. He is constantly putting the spotlight on other people. He's done it for us, and he's done it for so many people. He's gone from a 9 to 5. I think he was in, Christoph, if I get any of these details wrong, I apologize in advance. But he went from like a 9 to 5 in the military, some branch in the military, to being an entrepreneur, having this podcast that's just been a hit, connecting with so many people who are pursuing their passion fearlessly, and being an example of what's possible. He's actually, so a contribution that he's making, he inspired me to start getting up at 4:40 a.m. Thank you very much, Christoph. I follow him on Instagram, and he was showing in his stories that he was doing his meditation at 4:45, and I'm like, wait a minute.
How can you meditate when you're still asleep?
Meditate, and then reviewing his goals, and just like really taking each day by storm. And so I messaged him, and he was so kind to respond quickly and just say, it's been a game changer. This is why. These are the struggles of getting up at 4:40 a.m., but it's totally worth it, and just been such a big supporter of other people, and really believing that when you choose to influence other people in a positive way, you can really dream big, and he's truly an example. And then just a personal note, he has a golden retriever just like Duke, that that's their fur baby, and then his wife, who is beautiful, also just very positive. She's 41 weeks pregnant, so they're going to be having their first kid soon, any minute. So thanks, Christoph.
And Christoph is cool because he has a surfboard hanging on his wall behind where he does his podcasts.
Yeah.
He has a Firewire. I have my dad's old surfboard, balsa wood board, but I hear that the cool people have surfboards hanging on their wall in the background of their live stuff.
Yes, they totally geeked out about that. Let's see some comments. Deb said that she wakes up at 6, so I get up with it. It makes my day more organized. Yes. And Alicia said that her workout varies because of Gus, their son. I think he's a toddler. And it's never the same time every day.
Nice.
Love those comments. So,
Tip of the week.
yeah. So each Copying Connection, we want to give you a question so that we can engage. We love hearing from you guys. So thank you. Thank you for saying hello when you come on, and thank you for answering the question of the day as you come on. And even if you watch this after it's live, we would love to hear your answer to the question. And then we want to do a tip of the day, which could be a health tip, a spiritual tip, or a mental tip. So what is it today?
Today we're just going to talk about the value and how to for like a daily devotion or a daily time where you set your intention or make your plan for the day, something consistent that you go into. Do you do this, Whitney?
Yes.
Yeah, yes. For like an hour and a half every day she does this.
Yeah, probably.
Yeah. She's like the poster child for setting intentions and morning devotions.
It's necessary.
This is sort of a new practice for me. I mean, I guess I'm about 2 years in actually of doing this sort of thing. The adjustment that I know I had to make, which is kind of our first tip and how to go through this, was I had to get up earlier. And that was the secret to the whole thing, is I kept trying to fit it into my normal, window of the day, and it just didn't fit. It kept getting interrupted because the window I had been living by for the 42 years up to that point, it already had allocated activities in all those times, and so I just moved the window a little bit, ended up getting up a little bit earlier, and that way I had a protected space to do this. So that was the first technique for it. What's another one that comes to mind for you?
Consistency. Yeah, I would say the more consistent we are in our daily intention or devotion, whichever one you're doing, the bigger of an impact it has, because we start to see just that even if it's like 10 minutes a day, it really adds up over time. I started smaller. I didn't start at an hour and a half for my intention, and it's just grown to being something that I really thrive off of, and allows me to really take charge of my day rather than feel like my day takes charge of me.
It's longer than our lunch break, your devotion time.
Stop criticizing it.
I'm not. I'm saying it's good.
You're always picking on me.
That's not picking. The third one is to be present during that time, and that's like the difficult part, but it's part of the practice of doing that. Is you don't want it to be like I just check it off the list. It's just another thing that I do. But to really try to be there for that time, and that's why for myself I set a small time. Is I don't go quite so long. Mine's probably 10 to 15 minutes, and I really practice being present for that time, not thinking about what I have to do next that day, or what's coming next, or what was on my mind from yesterday. Yeah, and it's a lot of grace with myself to be like, I find my mind going off, like, oh no, come back and focus. Be here, be doing this thing now. And so that with just waking up a little bit early, prioritizing the consistency, trying to do a little bit each day, and then really putting an emphasis on being present. It lets you live more intentionally. It lets your day be more on purpose. It's not that you're in control of everything, because that's just never going to happen.
Just mentally.
But it's on purpose. It's not just like, moment to moment to moment to moment. Oh dang, how did I get here? I didn't mean to do this with my life. It just lets you be a little bit more on purpose.
Yes, I love that. Cool. Well, we have one other feature that we're going to be doing next week that is a surprise. Yeah, I guess it is a surprise. We don't want to give it away until we actually do it. And then every month for Copying Connection, we'll be alternating just randomly those 3 features. And don't forget, the 1st of March, we don't do Coffee and Connection. So,
where are we going to be? How come we don't get to do Coffee and Connection?
We'll be in El
I almost
Salvador,
forgot. Instead of
surfing.
being here where it's 30 degrees, we're going to be where it's 80 degrees. That's right. It keeps slipping my mind. Never.
All right, you guys have a wonderful day today.
Oh, shit. Do you want to see Duke before we go?
Oh, man.
Oh, here he
Oh,
is.
man.
Oh, hey, Duke.
Getting so
Say
big.
hi to everybody. Happy Coffee and Connection.